Hey everybody, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kristina. This is where we read book and talk about books, series books. No special theme music, no special effects going on here, nothing special going here. Please hit the like and subscribe. Those of you who have subscribed, I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, we did not meet the Christmas miracle of 1,000 subscribers. Hell, we just broke 150. Woohoo! 12 months. And we just broke 150. Oh well. Thank you for those who have subscribed. Please keep it up. Hey, maybe New Year's. Maybe we could break 200? Probably not. But I'm just putting it out there. Please hit the like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. Spread the word with peeps. I hope everybody had a nice Christmas. It's been okay. It's been kind of lonely. My big crowd. This is my big crowd. Enjoy my big crowd. So anyways, I told everybody we're doing our 30 Days of Janet, and we're going to end with 30/30. My Christmas, my go-to books for the holidays. And we are doing Turbo 23. And, Lorelei King does an excellent job with the audiobooks. You should check them out. So we have Stephanie. She's our bounty hunter. And I'm yellow. Lula is her partner. Connie is the office manager. Vinny is the boss. We have her mother, and Grandma Monsieur is our comedy relief. We have Joe Morelli, who is our on-again, off-again, on-again, off-again, on-again, off-again boyfriend who's a cop. Ranger, who is Special Forces and also runs a security business. And he's also an on-again, off-again, off-again, on-again romantic interlude, I should say. We have a couple of people that visit us from the past, which is good. So we'll be getting into that. So let's get started, shall we? So, Turbo 23. First, she's got an FTA who shows up, and they jump out of the car to chase him. And while they're chasing him, he doubles back and steals Lula's follow bird. Lula decides to steal Larry's truck to get even with him. So they take the truck and they destroy a cop car. So they run over a cop car with the truck. Ranger shows up, and he's been hired by Henry Bogart to provide increased security for his ice cream shop. Apparently, there are two ice cream places that war against each other, and Henry's been having some trouble. He wants Ranger to provide some security for his business. So Ranger wants Stephanie to go undercover in the business and see what's going on. So she goes undercover. When she gets back to her apartment, Morelli is there. And you know, I can't do these books without sharing them with you, to share my enjoyment with you. Morelli was on my couch watching television when I walked in. His big, mostly golden retriever Bob was on the couch with him. There was a takeout pizza box on the coffee table. Morelli looked up at me and grinned. Have a good night? Eddie Garcia called you, didn't he? Cupcake, everyone called me, including your mother and the Trenton Times. News travels fast. Not every day someone dipped in chocolate and sprinkled with nuts. Usually people in Trenton get just stabbed and shot. I squeezed between Morelli and Bob, flipped the lid up on the pizza, and took a slice. I thought you might have gotten the call on this one. I just came off a double shift, so I was low in the rotation. Butch pulled it. I can't stop thinking about the dead man. Yeah, me too. Eddie said he was dressed up like a Bogart bar. I don't suppose you have any. No, but the freezer truck was filled with cartons of them. It was like the man in the truck was part of the Bogart bar. All this talk about Bogart bar is making me feel romantic. Everything makes Morelli feel romantic. She's got a couple of new skips. One of them is Simon Diggory, the trailer with the snakes in it. We've been there, done that a few times. It's over. Then she's got then they find another the dead guy in the truck was Arnold Ziegler. They go after Simon Diggory. That works out. Ranger comes by. He wants her to look in the ice cream factory. Eugene Winkle is a new FTA. Lula has an idea for a TV show. Her version of Naked and Afraid. And we get our old little dwarf friend Randy Briggs back in the market. And you hate Randy Briggs, I told Lula. Exactly. That's what makes it so good. There's instant drama. You see what I'm saying? We got the idea from Saturday Night Live. The sexy little guy from Game of Thrones did this Naked and Afraid skit with Leslie Jones, and it was dope. So you're going to rip off Saturday Night Live? Yeah, got it. Brilliant, right? Probably some people have already submitted reels for that. It don't matter because ours is so awesome, and we got a twist on it. Ours is Naked and Afraid in Trenton. It's gonna be the city version. She goes to her parents' house, and it wouldn't be a Stephanie Plum book without her mother's rant. Although it's not as good as previous rants, it's a smaller rant. When my mother's blood pressure goes into the red zone, she irons. Thursday morning is her usual ironing day. If you see her ironing any other time, it's not a good sign. You ran over Eddie Garcia's cop car, my mother said. He's married to your cousin Shirley. You grew up with Eddie. What were you thinking? It was an accident. My mother pressed the iron into the shirt and a cloud of steam rose off the ironing board. His mother called me this morning. She's all upset. She thinks you should be locked up in jail. She said you're one of those crazy cop hater people. I wasn't even driving the truck, I said. Lula was driving the truck, and she miscalculated the brakes. It was stolen, my mother said. You stole an ice cream truck? I sat down and took a cookie from the box. Actually, Larry Vigil stole it. Lula and I sort of commandeered it. You should marry Joseph and have a baby, my mother said. What are you waiting for? Good question. I didn't know the answer. I ate cookies while I thought about it. After 5 cookies, I still didn't have an answer. It was one of many questions without answers. If I was me, I'd marry Ranger, Grandma said. I go for those dark guys. My mother flicked a glance at the cabinet over the sink. That's where she hid her stash of whiskey. I was sure my mother was thinking it was so close and yet so far. Too early for a drink. There were rules to be followed in the burg. One did not imbibe until 4 o'clock unless it was awake. Ranger doesn't want to marry me, I said. He has issues. What kind of issues, Grandma asked. I don't know exactly, I said. I think he's working on his karma. That's heavy. He's not the right person anyway, my mother said. Joseph has a good job and a house. And just because he has a house, he qualifies. So then they go try to Eugene Winkle. There's an interesting conversation in the deli. And like I said, I have to share these books. I can't do them without sharing. You know me. Mrs. Morgenstern was behind me. I hear you tried to kill Eddie Garza, she said to me. I think that's terrible. I didn't try to kill him, I said. Lula accidentally hit his cop car. Eddie wasn't anywhere near it. Such a nice young man, Mrs. Morgenstern said. I hope they give him another car. Then Randy Briggs comes over. He complains about Lula and Naked and Afraid. Ranger comes by. Arnold Ziegler was the head of human resources at the ice cream factory. She does the day at the ice cream factory. Lula calls. Morelli makes a dinner appointment. She goes back to the ice cream factory. The owner is not very friendly. Lula decides to go to the ice cream factory and work alongside Lula, and then decides it's not for her and bails. They go to get Virgil. He sees her, and he runs into traffic and gets hit by a car. Eddie Garcia gets into a car. Morelli brings lasagna. They talk about the case and the ice cream factory. And that's for a couple of books. Then Ranger calls her and says that she can leave. She doesn't have to work undercover anymore because someone knew who she was. She spends more time with Morelli, and then her grandmother calls her in the middle of her mother calls her in the middle of the night in regards her grandmother has a man in her bedroom. This 80 or 75-year-old woman has a man in her bedroom, and her daughter can't handle it. I've been there, done that. My mother was a single mother. So there was stuff. We won't even go there now. And there was lots of Caribbean and Jamaican and all kinds of flavors that went through. But anyways, so then she goes and works at the competition factory at Moe's. She gets fired almost instantly. She has to go back to Bogart because there's another dead guy. They go looking for a Skip. It doesn't work out. She does some research. She goes back to her parents' house. Her grandma's boyfriend shows up. He's got a motorcycle. Her mother doesn't approve of her mother getting on a motorcycle. She complains to Stephanie. It's so cute. So Stephanie goes to get a new vehicle. It's a Mercedes. It might be hot. It might not be hot, but she paid $5,000 cash for it. They talk to Kenny. He's Moe's son, or he's somebody's son. He said Bogart is evil man, and he complains some more. They snoop around Butchie's house, gets nowhere. She does the ice cream factory again. Briggs, their naked and afraid thing didn't work out, so Lula has decided they're going to do bungee jumping. It's not going to work. So there was one little thing. So you have to read the book to find out who is killing all the people that work for the ice cream factory and why they're killing all the people in the ice cream factory. And what happens... why did I want this page? It was really... I marked it as important, so let me just look to see. I've mentioned this previously, that whenever they go into a situation where it's going to turn messy, Ranger comes out spick and span clean, and Stephanie comes out a mess. Whenever they go into a situation, he opened the door and stepped in, and I followed. Something went sprung over my head. An alarm gave 3 blasts of noise, and I was instantly covered in gunk. Ranger and I froze for a nanosecond. Booby trap, Ranger said. Dottie thundered down the stairs. Ranger caught her in a beam of light, and she fired off a shot. The shot went wide. Ranger shoved me to the ground, and Dottie ran for the back door. And he gets her. And the booby trap is cooking oil, bacon grease, and fried chicken grease. So when she goes home to Morelli enjoys her smell. But there's an interesting observation at the back. And I've been saying this for how many books? For 23 books. And it's going to continue. and she has some romantic time with Ranger in this book. A little spoiler, but Ranger comes clean, and he nails it on the head. He said, "Babe, he's been stringing you along since you were 5 years old. You're no closer to marriage with him than you were in kindergarten. We might be engaged to be engaged. You're not sure?" "Of course I'm sure. Sort of. We just don't talk about it a lot. In fact, we didn't talk about it ever. He avoided dinner with my parents so he didn't have to talk about it. The subject never came up between us, not even during intimate moments. Plus, there was the billiard table. Initially, I thought he was saving his money to buy me a ring, but he bought the table with the money. Face facts, Stephanie. When a man is thinking about marriage and starting a family, he doesn't replace his dining room table with the billiard table. Besides, I don't even like billiards." So, check it out. Turbo 23. We're almost there. We're almost to Dirty 30. We've got to get through Hardcore 24. Please hit the like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good night.